following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Hello, and welcome to the Box Score Breakdown Show presented by Hoop Ball. My name is Adrian Benjamins, and I'm joined by Neil Rochlani. And this episode of the Box Score Breakdown Show is brought to you by Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee Company. Taste the Kona difference. Get yourself some delicious coffee. Go to hawaiianisles.com. You can also find their delicious coffee on Amazon. Make sure to go get some coffee. Support our wonderful sponsor. Neil, how are you doing today?
Adrian, I'm doing well, but I want to make one correction from yesterday. We did not have our DFS contest today. We're having it Friday. I don't know if you saw.
Okay.
I thought we were going back to Wednesdays. It looks like this week is Friday. Maybe. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I think we were planning on going back to Wednesdays after the sort of holiday ended. So I have to wait 2 more days to defend my crown, which is nice, which means I'm still champion for 2 more days. So that's
nice.
That
Friday night lineup thing worked for you last week, man. I think let's leave it there until you are dethroned, man. But, I have to admit, throughout the day, I was kind of on Twitter, listening to a lot of NBA news, and today felt like a real fun day to set a lineup because there were so many good fill-in type guys. Am I right?
Yeah, I got the fill-in guys right, but I didn't get I'm still trying to figure out how to get the guys where you don't know, the more matchup guys that are out there normally. That is something I'm like 50-50 on. So until I get better at that, I'm not going to be consistent at this. But anyway, yes, there were some filler guys that produced for sure.
All right. Well, Neil, we have a very busy Wednesday night slate. I can't even count how many games there are right now because there's so many. And most of them are all final. I'm going to be able to pretty much hit up the entire slate except for maybe one game. So it's going to be a pretty big night. Should we just jump right into it? I don't really see anything that's majorly newsworthy. Do you?
I haven't seen anything either. Just the Valanciunas update that he's out another 3 to 4 weeks, which is a little more than we expected, but not too bad. And nothing really else. Butler sat tonight, but nothing serious. We'll see about Lowry. No new updates on him. So yeah, let's go in. I think it's your turn to start.
I think it is too, unfortunately. All right, I'm going to lead us in. I'm just looking at Basketball Monster. I'm just going to go down the list in the order that they have the games. Going to start with Miami and Cleveland. The Heat getting the victory here, 117-92. This one was a blowout. Going to jump in on the Heat side. Going to start with Josh Richardson, 24 points, 5 assists, 2 rebounds, 4 threes tonight. 2 of 2 from the line, 9 of 16 from the field. Justice Winslow, a guy that you and I have been talking quite a bit about, has been in the starting lineup. The shooting wasn't quite there tonight, was only 3 of 11 for 10 points, but I think you still got to stick with this guy. He's starting, getting the good usage. I think he'll have much better days than this. I love that he's facilitating 7 assists tonight, 4 rebounds, 4 of 4 from the line. So I think better days will be ahead. We know he's not great when it comes to field goal percentage, but I think he'll still be pretty good in a lot of other categories. Hassan Whiteside with 8 points, 12 rebounds, a block, 4 of 8 from the field. Magruder got the start, but only played 21 minutes for 10 points. James Johnson gets the start, only got 17 minutes for 11 points. James Johnson with 3 threes, which is nice. Magruder also had 2 threes. Derek Jones Jr. off the bench, but, because it was the blowout, we saw the bench get extended run here. Jones Jr. in 31 minutes had 13 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Tyler Johnson, a guy that I left on my bench in a few leagues that I owned him in, and I'm really regretting that decision, but like I said, looks like he just got some more run off the bench for the blowout. 6 from 10 for him for 16 points, 3 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds for Tyler Johnson. Kelly Olynyk with 10 points, 6 rebounds and assists, 2 threes for him. Bam Adebayo had 8 points. 5 assists, 5 boards. Dion Waiters is back. But just saw limited minutes here. Likely will come off the bench and see limited minutes for some time. 7 points, 3 assists. Neil, we talked about how crowded this team is. Now Dion Waiters is back. We're still waiting for Goran Dragic. We're still waiting for Wayne Ellington. Dwayne Wade missed this one due to health issue or an illness. What do you think of the Miami Heat?
Yeah, so the depth here is so massive that it's hard to find anyone. I will say, a good thing you mentioned on Derrick Jones Jr., the 31 minutes are probably due to the blowout. So don't expect minutes like this going forward. I do think he's the one guy you can't pick up in deeper leagues. That might be okay going forward. Standard leagues, I don't think he's there yet, despite having a standard league line tonight. But if you need to stash someone or you need someone to start in deeper leagues and he's out there, he might work. He is, I think, one of their better bench players. So I think we'll get some run. Other than that, though, I think you covered it. This is a very deep team. Missing 2 guys who Wade usually gets a ton of usage. And Ellington will take a lot of shots when he's back, and Dragic is their starting point guard. So, and guys, they still played like about 11 deep tonight, so it's crazy. That's all. Should I go on to the Cleveland side?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's start off with Tristan Thompson back in the lineup. 23 minutes tonight, 14, 2, and 1 on 5 of 9, shooting 4 of 6 from the free throw line, 2 steals, no blocks. Colin Sexton, 12, 4, and 4 on 5 of 15 shooting, 2 3-pointers, no defensive stats. Chetty Osman, 9, 3, and 3 on 2 of 6 from the field, 3 of 3 from the line, 2 3-pointers, and a turnover. Rodney Hood, 13, 2, and 1 on 5 of 7 shooting, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals, and a block. Alec Burks, 27 minutes, 9, 3, and 0 on 4 of 7 shooting, a 3-pointer. Off the bench, Clarkson played 25 minutes. Not much of a scoring night tonight for him, though. Just 11 points on 4 of 9 shooting. Did get 5 assists. No rebounds, no steals, had a block. Larry Nance Jr. back to the bench. Although this is a pretty good night, considering he only played 22 minutes. 6, 5, and 6 on 3 of 5 shooting. 3 steals and a block. Did have 3 turnovers. McCaw, 18 minutes. Dellavedova, 18. This is also a blowout game. I'm not sure if Larry Nance's minutes are going to stay in the 20s. I think he should not be owned anymore, but that's just my opinion. I think I've been wrong before, but I don't trust him now with Tristan Thompson back. I think his minutes, and Tristan only played 23 tonight, I think that would change if this game is closer. No one really on this team I'm digging at the moment. I still think Sexton is worth a stash. Other than that, I'm kind of holding off on the rest of the Cavaliers until if and when Kevin Love comes back, which he's expected to come back, I believe, in sometime this month. We'll see. I'll believe it when I see it, but expect to come back on the 18th. And I don't have really anything else on the Cavs. Do you have any additional comments?
Personally, I'm really happy to see Tristan Thompson and Rodney Hood back. For whatever reason, in a few of my leagues, I own both of these guys, and I've been holding on to both of these guys. So in the Hoopball Staff League, I have both these guys. I'm really happy to get them both back. My team can really use them right now. So just pretty happy to see that. Other than that, you pretty much covered everything. Patrick McCaw, I'm kind of curious to see what he could do, but I don't know. I mean, definitely not a guy we're making a move on in really deep leagues. I'm just watching him. And, the Cavs are kind of crowded in the backcourt right now. So likely he won't have any value, but I just am going to keep an eye on him. All right, let's move over to the next game, Neil. I think the next one up is the Dallas Mavericks and the Charlotte Hornets. This one was also a blowout, 122-84. The Mavs getting the victory over the Hornets. Going to look in on the Mavs side. Going to start with the Harrison Barnes. 17 points, a steal, a block, 4 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 threes. Perfect 5 of 5 from the line, 5 of 14 from the field. Luka Doncic, this was a pretty nice game from him. He had 18 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists. No defensive stats, but he did also add 3 threes, 1 of 2 from the line, 7 of 16 from the field. Wesley Matthews had 11 points, with 1 3, 4 of 4 from the line, 3 of 7 from the field in 25 minutes. DeAndre Jordan with 8 points, 13 boards, 1 assist, a block. 4 out of 7 from the field in 24 minutes. Dennis Smith Jr., this is actually a pretty nice line from him. In just 22 minutes, he had 18 points, 3 steals, 7 assists, 3 threes, 3 out of 4 from the line, 6 out of 10 from the field. Like the efficient shooting. I own him in a few leagues, and he's just wasting away on my bench. I just don't trust playing him. One of my biggest misses of the season, Dennis Smith Jr. Powell contributed off the bench, 15 points with 8 boards, 2 assists, a steal in 24 minutes. He also had 2 threes. They got some nice contribution off the bench. Finney Smith with 7 points, 5 points from Barea and Harris. Neil, what do you think of the Dallas Mavericks?
Yeah, the one line here that kind of jumps out at me is the guy that I've always kind of liked from a stat set issue, and that's Dwight Powell. 15, 8, and 2 on 5 of 6 shooting, 3 of 3 from the line, 2 3-pointers, a steal, and a block. I really wish I could count on him for 24 minutes a night. I think he'd be worth an ad at that level, but this just seems to be an aberration. Like you said, it was a blowout. Charlotte is missing 2 key players. I don't know if you listened to Dan's show today, but there was a fantasy expert. He talked about Dennis Smith Jr. maybe having a good game because he is from the Charlotte area. And they said he was going to have lots of fans in the stadium, and they expected him to kind of be focused on. So it kind of came to fruition. I'm not going to change my value on him. I still think he's someone, because of his percentages, I'm holding off on. I'm just shaking my head about Luka Doncic. This guy is just so amazing. Just love him. All right, I'm going to go on to the Charlotte side. Let's see. So they were missing Cody Zeller broke his hand. He's out a month. Jeremy Lamb, hamstring injury, is out at least to the next game. It could be up to another week or so. We'll see how quickly he recovers. Tonight, though, Kemba Walker really struggled. 4-14 shooting. Played 27 minutes, 11 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists on 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 0 from 5 from downtown, no defensive stats. Hernan Gomez, he gets a start, just gets 18 minutes. Possibly he could get in the 20s, though. This was actually a decent sign. It was a blowout. 6 points, 10 rebounds, 1 assist on 3 of 8 shooting, and a block. I think if you picked him up and you started him expecting more, he might get a little bit more than this. But don't count on him for 35 minutes a night. Marvin Williams played 22 minutes, 10, 2, and 2 on 4 of 9 shooting. 2 of 3 from the three-point land. No defensive stats. Batum, I thought he might be a beneficiary of this depleted Charlotte team. Not really much tonight, though. Just 28 minutes, 8 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on 3 of 6 shooting, 2 3-pointers, a steal, no blocks. A guy who I did not expect to start but did, Devontae Graham, got to start as shooting guard. Played 34 minutes. Really struggled, though. 3 of 13 from the field, 10 points, 1 rebound, 2 assists. Did go 2 of 2 from the line. Took 8 3-pointers, made 2 of them, 2 steals and no blocks, 3 turnovers. Miles Bridges played 24 minutes, 8, 5, and 2 on 2 of 9 shooting. Did not really get a bump because of the absences. Neither did Malik Monk, although he did get hurt. Left the game, never really came back to it. 5 minutes he just played and was 0 of 2 from the field. Kid Gilchrist got 14 minutes. Biombo 15, Kaminsky 16. These guys, Dwayne Bacon 17, are still not going to get the minutes, and this isn't a blowout. So I think in standard games, these minutes aren't going to go any higher. So I think Hernan Gomez can still be owned and picked up, if not, and maybe streamed. I don't know who else, though. I don't think Devontae Graham, and we'll see what happens with Monk and Bridges, but there's real no opportunity that's obvious here for me. Do you see it any differently, Adrian?
I was, we talked about at the beginning of the show how tonight seemed like a fun night for DFS due to the fill-in guys, and Malik Monk was a guy, as soon as I found out that Jeremy Lamb was going to miss this one, he immediately came to mind. I was very surprised that Graham was listed as a starter over Monk, but I still felt like Monk could put up a good game. As you mentioned, left this game with, I believe it was an ankle injury, didn't return, only played 5 minutes. I'm hoping it's not serious. I hope he can be ready for the next game, which is in Denver on Saturday. If so, I kind of do like Malik Monk as a stream. We've seen him have good games early in the season when Jeremy Lamb does not play, or when Jeremy Lamb is limited. So it's a guy I'm keeping an eye on, but I'm probably not making a move on anyone except for Hernan Gomez. He got picked up in a lot of leagues already. I'm hoping the low minutes from Hernan Gomez was due to the blowout factor and that he hopefully would have seen larger minutes if this game was closer. All right, Neil, should we move on to the next one?
I will note that you did pick him up in our league, and I'm very upset about that.
I forgot who I dropped, but I immediately kind of regretted who I dropped. I'll have to go back and look that up. But
it's always sometimes like when you know a guy's a stream, it's really hard to know whether to drop someone or not. You know.
For example, in one league, I picked up Thomas Bryant and I dropped him. And now Thomas Bryant, we'll get to the Wizards later on tonight. He went off tonight and looks like a great ad. So, sometimes it's really tough to stick with the guy if he has, especially those fringe pickup guys. If they have a couple of rough games, it's real easy just to make a move on to the next guy when maybe you should stick with these guys. It's really tough. All right, I'm going to move over to the next game. The Atlanta Hawks. Let's keep rolling here. The Atlanta Hawks and the Washington Wizards. Oh, we were just talking about Thomas Bryant. He had a monster game here, and the Wizards got the victory 114-98. But I am going to jump in on the Hawks, and we were just talking about pickups. This is a guy that I think needs to be picked up. Kevin Huerter, 44 minutes tonight? Is that right? I mean, how many minutes in a game? Is there 45 minutes in a game? So this guy played almost the entire game? This is unreal. I believe he had a game just not too long ago where he played 40 minutes as well. So, look, if this guy's going to get minutes like this, he needs to be owned. Took 14 shots tonight. He only made 5, excuse me. He only made 5 for 12 points, a block, 5 assists, a rebound, 1 3. I think we got to stick with this guy. The scoring should be there, and I think he'll provide some threes and some other stuff. Trae Young with 5 points, 9 assists, a block, a 3, 2 of 8 from the field. Dedmon, this is a guy who we've seen have some big games just recently. I think we need to also stick with him. He's starting. The minutes are there. 6 points tonight, a steal, a block, an assist, 9 boards, 3 of 8 from the field. A guy you really need to stick with because he's just a stud is John Collins. 21 points, 3 assists, 8 rebounds, 4 of 5 from downtown. Shot a very efficient 8 of 14 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line. The only thing missing from this guy's game is some defense. If he could just, 0 steals, 0 blocks, he would be a perfect player if he contributed in those other categories. But no complaints. Still a great fantasy asset. Hamilton got the start, 21 minutes, got 8 points, 7 boards, and assists, 1 3. Off the bench, they got a nice game from Alex Len. 24 points, 11 rebounds with 3 blocks. Shot a very efficient 11 of 19 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line. He even made a 3-pointer. I wish we can count on Len to do anything like this going forward, but we don't, or at least I don't. Bembry with 11 points off the bench. Jeremy Lin had 8 points, 5 assists, 3 steals off the bench. This team's missing Bazemore. We're still waiting on Taurean Prince to return. Neil, what do you think of the Hawks?
Yeah, that's the one reason that gives me pause on Huerter. I think I do have him in one league, and I think he can be a 3-and-D guy second half of the season. Took 7 threes tonight. He's a pretty good shooter tonight, just made 1 of 7, so had a rough night shooting. But like you said, played virtually the whole game. I don't know how his role is going to he doesn't do a whole lot besides shooting, and some, shoots 3-pointers, and then free throw percentage is very strong. I don't know what that's going to turn into though when Prince comes back, and we'll see what happens with Bazemore when he comes back. We're all kind of wondering if Bazemore gets moved at some point this season, or if he gets benched and they really want to tank. I'm a little hesitant on picking up Huerter more than one league. It's kind of like I get one share of a guy and see if it works out, and then I'll invest more if he works out. But Right now I'm holding on to one. But yeah, other than that, like you said, Alex Len, I totally agree. I mean, this is just nuts. This guy, I didn't think he was going to be in the league this year. I thought he was going to be somehow cut, but he's proven himself. So we'll see. He's going to stick around as a backup center, but that's all he is, and can't count on him for minutes. Washington, as we know, has depleted that position with Howard out. Now Markieff is seen a specialist, and who knows how long he's going to be out. So I'll jump over to that side. As you mentioned, Thomas Bryant, start with him because he had a huge double-double, played 39 minutes himself, 16 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist on 5 of 7 shooting. He's a very good free throw percentage shooter as well, 6 of 6 from the line tonight, 2 steals, 2 blocks, so just a monster night from him, especially for a guy you get off the waiver wire. Bradley Beal taking over in the scoring leadership here, 24 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists on 9 of 20 shooting, 3 of 3 from the line, 3 3-pointers, 2 steals, no blocks, 3 turnovers. Trevor Ariza back in the starting lineup, 39 minutes, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists on 5 of 15 shooting. 1 of 3 from the free throw line. It's a bit unusual. A 3-pointer and a steal. That's kind of what we expect from him. Jeff Green, this is a guy who I put in DFS, and he did not disappoint. 36 minutes, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 7 of 13 shooting, 4 of 4 from the line, 4 3-pointers, no defensive stats, a single turnover. Satoransky, he is the other backcourt player with Beal now, and Wall done for the year. Beal playing with Beal with Wall done for the year. 37 minutes, 14, 11, and 7. I was hesitant to pick this guy up, Adrian, but after tonight, I am going to see if I can, in my fab dollars, how much I want to invest on this guy. I think he could be okay. I don't think he's going to be this good every night. Going against Atlanta always helps, but he had a ton of usage, and he looked good out there. 14 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists on 5 of 10 shooting. To go 3 of 6 from the line, that gives me a little pause. Had a 3-pointer, 2 steals, no blocks. Off the bench, like you said, Chasen Randall, I'll probably pronounce his name wrong. And then Sam Decker. Otto Porter is back, but played just limited minutes, 14 minutes, went for 9, 1, and 2. I don't know if Satoransky is going to take a dip with Porter coming back. I think it's going to be more Jeff Green. So I think Satoransky and Bryant are safe. I think those guys are going to be safe. I think Bryant will be the better one if you could pick between 2 of them. But I think Markieff may be done for a while. Howard's done probably for the year. I mean, at least for a while. So this team's a little screwed up too because they're not very good. Anyway, what are your thoughts on the Wizards?
Make sure Thomas Satoransky is picked up in your league. I agree with you, Neil. Definitely will not be this good on most nights. But last season, when John Wall was out, he was a top 75 player in category leagues. And I think just the starting spot, the usage, the minutes, not a guy that scores a ton of points, but I love how he contributes in all these other categories like he did tonight with 11 rebounds and 7 assists. He even gave you a 3 tonight and 2 steals. So, definitely I think he's got to be picked up pretty much in all standard leagues. And Thomas Bryant, man, this guy looks really good. This guy's probably already picked up in all your leagues as well. Double check. The Wizards with John Wall done for the season. You mentioned Morris is getting checked out. They could also make some trades. There's rumors that Otto Porter can be on the block. They might just go into tank mode. Thomas Bryant could be a guy that benefits here. This guy was on the Lakers roster a season ago, and the Lakers could really use a big man like this. What a mistake for them not to keep this guy, which they probably could have done pretty cheaply. So, as a Laker fan, I'm very disappointed to see a really talented big man leave for nothing and play well in Washington. All right, Neil, going to move over to the next game. The Pelicans and the Brooklyn Nets is the next one I got up. This one was close. Nice to see a close game after all of the holy moly. I think my computer's glitching over here, Neil. I'm looking at Anthony Davis. I guess I should say the Nets got the victory 126 to 121. Gonna look in on the Pelicans side, and I am blown away right now by Anthony Davis. 34 points to go along with 26 rebounds. Oh my goodness. He even gave you 3 blocks, a steal, 4 assists. He was 8 of 10 from the line. He even gave you 2 threes tonight. What did this guy not do tonight? He did it all. 12 of 25 from the field. He played 42 minutes tonight. Wow. Geez, man. The best player in fantasy, hands down. We know why. Okay, Holiday, 20 points, a steal, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 threes. He shot 8 of 16. Moore gave you a good scoring game with 16 points, 2 steals and assists, 2 threes tonight, 6 of 11 from the field, 2 of 2 from the line. Randall is still doing his thing with Nico Mirotic out of the lineup. Julius Randle's been pretty good. 21 points from him. Love the defensive stats too. A steal, 2 blocks, 4 boards, 2 assists, 5 of 9 from the line, 8 of 13 from the field. Elfrid Payton, this guy looks like he's back. Neil, he played really good. 25 points to go along with 7 dimes, 2 boards, 2 threes tonight. Shot a very efficient 10 of 15 from the field, 3 of 4 from the line. An outstanding game from him. I hope he's back for good. I hope he keeps this up and can surge into the second half of the season. Off the bench, not very much to talk about. Tim Frazier's fallen off a cliff. Nobody else really to even mention here off the bench. Neil, what do you think of the Pelicans?
Yeah, well, let's. I'm going to avoid the obvious as I normally talk about my true love, but I'm going to go right to Elfrid Payton because he's the one guy that is probably out there in most leagues. I dropped him when he got hurt. Wasn't doing much in the beginning of the season. He is currently still on a per game basis in 8 cat leagues, 131. He came back. This is his second game back. First game back, he struggled. This is against the Brooklyn team, which runs up and down, not known for their defense. So give it a little bit of salt on this line. I do think, though, I did draft him late in my draft, so I believe that if he could fit into this offense and produce, a little worried about his percentages. His field goal percent has been fine this year. He's shooting 49% on the year. I know he's only played 8 games, so it's a very limited sample size. And his free throw percent is 70%, so not too bad. I think this guy might be worth a flyer if you need a point guard, and they're hard to find at this point. So I would probably take him over Satoransky, although I think it's a tough call. I just think it's just a little more proven, although Satoransky has a higher upside. So I'll leave it at that. And that's all I'm going to talk about on the Pelicans. I think everything else we know. We're just waiting for Mirotic to come back. I don't know what this illness is. It seems like he's day-to-day. He's been day-to-day for like a month, so I'm not sure what's going on. Any other thoughts before I go to Brooklyn?
Mirotic may also be suffering from a right ankle injury as well. So it may be a little bit more than an illness, but I'm hearing he could be close to a return. So I think we'll see him maybe towards the end of this week.
All right. I'm going to put him in my fantasy DFS. I hope you're right. D'Angelo Russell led the team with 35 minutes and 22 points, 5 rebounds, 13 assists on 9 of 21 shooting. 2 of 2 from the line, 2 3-pointers, 2 steals, and a block. A single turnover. Another nice game from Joe Harris. He's been streaky now. 29 minutes, 21 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist on 9 of 16 shooting. It's that field goal percentage from a shooting guard, which is phenomenal. 3 3-pointers, a steal. Won't get you a whole lot of else, but that's really good value. Jared Allen, a quiet night in 31 minutes, 10 points, 11 rebounds on 3 of 6 shooting. Did go 4-4 from the line, a steal and 2 blocks. Jared Dudley back in the starting lineup, played 24 minutes, 8 points, 2 rebounds, no assists on 3 of 5 shooting, a steal, no blocks. Rodions Karuks, I don't want his middle name. I'll butcher that one too. 26 minutes, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist on 4 of 7 shooting, 2 3-pointers, and a block. I had this guy at one point, Adrian. I did drop him. I just don't. This is a very deep team. They like to run a lot of wings out there. I just think he's going to be the starter, but not really producing top value or start worthy value. Off the bench, Damari Carroll played 29 minutes, 19, 6, and 3. He did have a good night tonight. He's had a couple of good games, 6 of 12 from the field, 4 of 7 from the line, 3 3-pointers. Dinwiddie, 18.0 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 of 12 shooting, 6 of 6 from the line, 2 3-pointers. Shabazz Napier, 24 minutes. Ed Davis even got in there for 17 minutes and 12 rebounds. There must have been a lot of missed shots if Anthony Davis got 26 rebounds, or he was just playing like volleyball with himself at the rim and just missing and getting rebounds. That is just ridiculous. Anyway, my only takeaway from Brooklyn is I think Joe Harris, if he's out there, I think he's worth picking up if you need 3-pointers and a good field goal percentage from a wing. Not much else here that I can trust. It looks like D'Angelo Russell has been solid this year, knock on wood, 54 overall in ACAT leagues. Adrian, you called this one. You said top 50. Everyone here at Hoop Ball, let's just say, did not agree with you. And so far you have been proven right. So, I'm gonna say I got a little lucky on the D'Angelo Russell thing, where he definitely saw a significant boost in value when Karis LeVert went down. So I got a little lucky on that one. But it is nice to see D'Angelo Russell play well. Although I will admit, efficiency definitely an issue. Turnovers also too have been an issue with him, although tonight only had 1 turnover in 35 minutes. I hope he can keep that up. But yeah, for the most part, you're pretty happy if you drafted D'Angelo Russell this year. Oh, also just real quick, I'm a little curious to see what happens when Hollis Jefferson gets back and Crab, looks like Crab's going to miss a couple more weeks, so we're not worried about him. But, I love that you said go get Joe Harris. I've been in that camp for quite some time. But I'm a little worried to see what happens when Hollis Jefferson gets back in this lineup as well. All right. Should we move on to the next one? Let's do it.
Let's keep rolling. Next game I got up is the Detroit Pistons and the Memphis Grizzlies. Pistons getting the victory 101-94. Gonna take a look at the Pistons. I'm gonna start with Blake Griffin. Neil, you and I have talked about what a pleasant surprise this guy has been, and he did not disappoint tonight. 26 points, 7 assists with 8 rebounds, 2 steals. He even gave you 2 threes. Shot 11 of 23 from the field, 2 of 5 from the line. Drummond with somewhat of a low-end double-double, 11 points, 10 rebounds, only shot 4 of 13 from the field, which is somewhat unusual from him. 2 steals, a block, 2 assists, 3 of 5 from the line. Reggie Jackson, a guy who we see have a good game, have bad game. He's real on and off. Tonight he looked on, 16 points, a steal, 2 blocks, 5 assists, 7 rebounds, 4 threes tonight, 6 of 11 from the field. This is a pretty surprising line against a really nice defensive team in the Memphis Grizzlies. Reggie Bullock had 13 points, 3 assists, a rebound, and 3 threes, 4 of 8 from the field. Brown got the start. He only got 20 minutes. May have been due to foul trouble. He had 4 fouls. He had 3 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. I hope you are not counting on Brown. Off the bench, they got some nice production from Luke Kennard. In 27 minutes, he put up 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists with 2 threes. Galloway had 11 points, 2 steals, 3 threes. Not too much else to talk about. Stanley Johnson returned but did not do much in 6 minutes. What do you think of the Detroit Pistons, Neil?
Yeah, speaking of guys that have played so well this year, Blake Griffin, as you mentioned, I stay away from him because usually I want my big men to get higher percentages from the field and defensive stats. And that is something he has struggled this year still with his defensive stats. But he is just dominating offensively. 25 points this year. He's also getting close to 2.5 3-pointers, close to 9 rebounds, 5 assists. He's been a beast. 27th in A category leagues. Now he does turn the ball over quite a bit, so 9 cats not nearly as high, but it's phenomenal. I thought he had something to prove this year. That was my thought. He got traded last year, towards the end of last year. It's probably like a deer in headlights for the first 2 months over there, not knowing what happened to his life from the LA scene to the Motor City. But I think he's a guy who works really hard in the offseason, and I knew he was going to bring it this year. And he has. I thought it was going to be more just like Detroit would be a better team, not necessarily he would have a great fantasy year, but it's translated to that. The wing position, still watching that. Bullock, like you said, Brown. Those are the only two guys I have my eyes on. Maybe Kennard, but he doesn't get enough minutes. Anyway, nice win for Detroit on the road here in Memphis. I'm going to hop over to their side. Let's start with JJJ. 35 minutes, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 2 assists on 8 of 11 shooting, 8 of 8 from the free throw line, 2 of 2 from the three-point land. This is a guy who made 10 threes, didn't he, in a summer league game? My goodness. Tonight, no defensive stats, but put up a solid fantasy line. Mike Conley struggled tonight. 28 minutes, 0 of 8 shooting. Big reason probably why they lost tonight. No points. 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Nothing really tonight from Conley. Marcus saw 11, 7, and 3 on 4 of 10 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer and 2 blocks. Kyle Anderson putting up a 15.5 rebound, 1 assist line on 7 of 9 shooting, 1 block though, no 3-pointers, no steals. Garrett Temple played 37 minutes, just 7 points on 2 of 8 shooting, a rebound, 3 assists, 2 of 3 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer, 2 steals, and a block. JaMychal Green, 24 minutes, 8, 7, and 3 on 4 of 8 shooting. Nothing else in the stat line. Shelvin Mack gets 23 minutes. Dylan Brooks, 18 minutes. Tough night for Conley, tough night for Memphis. Jaren Jackson Jr. It's nights like this that make you think maybe Adrian would have taken him over Doncic. Maybe he's going to be right. I don't know. We got some pretty cool rookies this year, and he's one of them. So we'll see how it plays out. You ready to move? What are your thoughts on Memphis?
What a bum. JJJ, he didn't even get a block tonight. Ah, man, dump this guy to the wire. No, I'm just kidding. JJJ, what? Jeez, man. As you said, man, this rookie class with Doncic and JJJ, it's just been outstanding, man, and it's so much fun to see. Just want to note real quick, feel like Kyle Anderson has been slowly coming around. Last 4 games, he's been in double-digit points, and he's got a 20-point game in there in the last one. So over 30 minutes in the last 4 games. Tonight was just a ho-hum game with just the 5 rebounds and assists, but I feel like his scoring is starting to come up. This is kind of what I envisioned at the beginning of the season. I thought he'd be a low double-digit scorer, and it's starting to happen. So, I've had this guy on my bench in some leagues where you've got a game cap limit in your positions, and so I finally have moved him into a starting role where he's now. So I feel pretty good about it. He's looked pretty good the last 4 games. All right. Gonna move over to the next game. Let's keep it going, man. Man, this is definitely a big slate, but there's some really great games here. The Timberwolves and the Celtics I got up next. The Celtics getting the victory here, 115-102. And I'm going to take a look at the Timberwolves. Going to start with, I always start with Towns. I'm going to start with Andrew Wiggins, who had 31 points, no defensive stats, 3 assists, 2 rebounds, 2 threes, 10 of 18 from the field, 9 of 12 from the line is pretty nice. Tyus Jones, who's been filling in for Jeff Teague, and also Derrick Rose has been out of the lineup for a few games here. 14 points for Jones to go along with 9 assists, 4 steals, a rebound, 7 of 14 from the field. Love the 40 minutes and the usage. I think this guy's pretty much needs to be streamed while these 2 other point guards are out of the lineup. Karl Anthony Towns, Cat with the big double-double, 28 points, 12 rebounds, also adding 7 assists, a block of 3, a perfect 3 of 3 from the line, an efficient 12 of 21 from the field. Outstanding game from another guy who's one of the best fantasy players out there. Taj with only 8 points, 5 boards. Josh Okogie getting the start here with them missing some guys. Only 3 points from him, 2 steals, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. I love this guy in dynasty leagues for down the road, future seasons. I think this guy's going to be a stud. But with the crowded lineup, with this team, how loaded it is, it's not going to happen for him this season. Off the bench, Saric, man, him and Taj just really canceling each other out. 7 points for Saric in only 22 minutes. He also had 6 boards. Not too much else to talk about here, Neil. I should also mention with the Koji starting, that was also due to Robert Covington, who is out of this lineup as well. So some key contributors missing from this lineup. Neil, what do you think of the Timberwolves?
Yeah, tonight really depleted, like you said. Covington, Rose, and Teague all dealing with ankle injuries, all questionable, so they could be back as early as next game. Let's see what happens. Tyus Jones, Adrian, per game basis, a cat. Last week, 27 on the player rater. This man is streamable for sure when he is starting. Unfortunately, like you said, Tibbs likes his starters. So when he's starting, he's getting 40 minutes. When he's not starting, he's getting 8. So tough to play him then. But right now, keep rolling with him.
Hey, Friday, if we're still going to be missing Rose and Teague, would you say that Jones is a pretty solid DFS play? I'd have to imagine his salary's got to be pretty low, right?
It's starting to creep up a bit. He's starting to come almost in line with Rose. The market's realizing that he's this good because he's had like 5 games in a row now that are very good. So you can't really buy low on him anymore. He's still outperforming his price, but it's starting to get pretty fairly priced now. So,
hey,
go ahead.
Speaking of, Dan Vespers just said on Twitter that there's already 28 people in Friday's DFS contest. So you guys, you might want to jump in there a little early. Don't wait for Friday. Jump in there, get in there, because looks like this thing could fill up pretty quick. We're still just 2 days away. We already got 28 people in there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. And also, because I finished first last time, I'm probably going to finish last this time. So you can probably take my money. So
no way.
That's one less competitor.
Whatever you were doing when you set that lineup, you need to get back into that mode, man. Get back into that feeling and just keep it going, Neil.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man.
I have no idea what I did. All right. Go over to Boston side. We'll start off with, Kyrie was out tonight, questionable as well coming into today, and right eye irritation is what I'm seeing. Did not play, so this was a good play for DFS. It was Terry Rozier, pretty much a standard play for many people, and he did deliver 32 minutes, 16 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists on 6 of 10 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, 2 3-pointers, 5 steals, and a block. This guy would be a starter on most teams. He is very good. Al Horford, 23 minutes, 15, 5, and 4, 7 of 9 shooting, 3-pointer, 2 blocks. Marcus Morris played 24 minutes. It looks like he left this game, or it looks like I'm seeing a sore neck. I'm not sure if he left early. If so, he just got 24 minutes because of that. 12 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 3 of 9 shooting. Did go 4 or 5 from the free throw line, 2 3-pointers, a steal and a block. Jason Tatum, a very quiet night in 31 minutes, 8 points on 3 of 11 shooting, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 of 2 from the line, no 3-pointers, no steals, a single block. Marcus Smart, another quiet line from him. He struggles, only took 2 shots tonight, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals. Gordon Hayward off the bench. He had his breakout scoring game tonight, 32 minutes, 35 points on 14 of 18 shooting. Phenomenal night from him. 1 rebound, 5 assists, 3 of 3 from the line, 4 3-pointers. No defensive stats. Jaylen Brown contributing off the bench here, 29 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists on 4 of 7 shooting, a 3-pointer, a steal, and a block. 1-1-1 tonight. 1 of 2 from the line. Semi Ojeleye gets 18 minutes, goes for 5, 3 and 1, and a steal. Daniel Tice, 14 minutes. I can't say this guy, Yabusele. I'm not going to try his first name. 11 minutes. Anyway, Marcus Morris, I think, should be picked up. He's probably picked up in most of your leagues. I think we talked about him last time as well. I was very late to this game. 77th on the player rater for the season. I should have jumped on him much earlier. See how bad this neck injury is if he stays out. Other than that, these guys are doing okay. I don't think Smart, if you need steals, pick him up. Otherwise, he hurts you in too many categories, in my opinion. In 8-cat leagues, 111th on the year and per game basis. And Hayward, we'll see. 118 on the year. We'll see if this, gets him going, and maybe he can crack the top 100 by season's end. What are your thoughts on the Celtics?
Terry Rozier, one of those guys that I was looking at if I was setting up a DFS lineup tonight. As soon as it was announced that Kyrie was going to miss this one, I immediately thought of Terry Rozier, and he did not disappoint. Love to see Gordon Hayward with this line tonight. It's nice to see, just nice to see him put up the scoring numbers that we used to see back when he was in Utah. So I hope he can keep this up or keep rolling. It's a pretty nice game from him. All right, so let's keep this going. Let's jump into the next one, the Orlando Magic and the Chicago Bulls. This one, unfortunately, was a blowout. The Magic getting the victory 112 to 84. I will look in on the Magic side. Going to start with Aaron Gordon, who flirted with the triple-double. He's been real up and down lately, but tonight had a very nice game with 18 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds, a shot 8 of 14 from the field, 2 of 3 from the line. He even gave you a block. It's a pretty good game. Fournier had 13 points, 7 assists, 3 threes, shot 5 of 10 from the field. Vucevic, 22 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists. Man, the defensive stats from him are fantastic in this one. 2 steals, 3 blocks. Has not disappointed. Has been pretty good all season long. 1 3 tonight, 10 of 15 from the field. DJ Augustine, in 25 minutes, had 10 points with 6 assists, 2 rebounds. Jonathan Isaac, 7 points, 2 blocks, 3 rebounds, 1 3. That's okay. Terrence Ross with 15 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists off the bench. He even gave you 3 threes, 6 and 9 shooting. Mo Bamba here, 10 points with 3 blocks, 5 rebounds in just 20 minutes. That's pretty good. Not too much else to talk about here. Neil, what do you think of the Orlando Magic?
I guess, the guy I kind of key in on now is Isaac, because he is the one with potential and could be out there tonight. Another disappointment. I don't think I can't emotionally take this guy on my team. So I don't know what you've done, but I don't think no matter how much potential people talk about, and I've seen it as well, and I've raved about it as well, it's just too heart-wrenching for me to own. So I'm kind of almost like I might just like not watch him for 2 weeks and come back to him. The one thing I am taking away as well is Terrence Ross. He's actually serviceable if you need 3 and D stats. Tonight he had 3 3-pointers, like you said, and a steal. Mo Bamba looked decent, 10-5 with 3 blocks. I'm streaming him this week. They're playing 4 games, Orlando, so nice to see that. Not much else to take away from this side, but I will go over to my Chicago Bulls, whose offense has been so bad. I never thought I would say this, but they might have downgraded in coaching. They really might have downgraded in coaching. Their defense hasn't got much. It's gotten a little bit better, but their offense is just stagnant. I mean, it just looked really bad tonight. All their key players are back. Start with Levine, played 28 minutes, 16, 3 and 3 on 6 of 10 shooting, 4 or 5 from the line, no steals, no blocks. Go to Markkanen tonight, 14, 6 and 1 on 6 of 12 from the field, 2 3-pointers, 2 steals, no blocks. Chris Dunn, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists on 6 of 12 shooting, 1 of 1 from the free throw line, a steal and a 3-pointer and 3 steals. So nice night there. Justin Holiday very, very much has been struggling as of late. Tonight, 1 of 7 in 26 minutes, just 3 points on that 3-pointer, 4 rebounds and assist. Nothing else to speak of. And then Wendell Carter Jr. Adrian, I'm not seeing any notes on. He got 3 fouls early. I guess he never came back in. 13 minutes, no points, 1 rebound on 0 of 5 shooting. Just a horrendous night from him. Off the bench, Shaquille Harrison plays 26 minutes, 11, 3 and 2 on 5 of 14 shooting, 3 steals. Antonio Blakeney gets 24 minutes, 11, 4 and 1 on 5 of 12 shooting. Chandler Hutchinson, 22 minutes. Lopez, 16. Ryan Archidiacono, 15 minutes as well. Yeah, it's just a very sloppy game from them. They got down early. No one scored until there was like 3 minutes into this game. It was just one of those games that I was leaning towards taking the under. I don't know if it hit or not. But anyway, Bulls can't score. So can't do a lot of fantasy points. I'm still holding on to Justin Holiday. He's obviously been fine this year. He's going to probably end up dropping, though, about 20 ranks down to the 80s at some point. Markkanen, I'm still putting my money on him as the number one fantasy guy on this team. He's now at 58. Levine's at 34. I think they're trending in different directions. What are your thoughts on the Bulls?
So I was hearing that Coach Boylan purposely kind of benched Wendell Carter Jr. in this one to kind of, I don't know, teach him a lesson, or he felt like he could learn something by just kind of watching the game instead of being in it. I hate that, because the only thing that this team should really be doing right now is just developing their young studs, which Wendell Carter is. So, look, I think this could be maybe a good time to try to buy low on Wendell Carter. I don't think I would give up something really valuable for him at the moment, but I still like this guy's outlook for the second half of the season. So I would definitely just stay strong if you have Wendell Carter Jr. Love your take on Lauri Markkanen. I think he will be the best player on this team. And, yeah, all right. That's all I got. And, it's tough times for the Bulls, but things are going to be looking really nice come draft time when they land that number one draft pick and they start preparing for Zion Williamson. So hang in there, Chicago Bulls fans. Brighter days are ahead. All right, last game for me, the Philly 76ers and the Phoenix Suns. This one was surprisingly a little closer than I thought it would be, man. I was watching some of this game, and in the beginning, Philly got off to a big lead to start this game. So little surprised that the Suns hung in there and came back in this one. The Sixers got the win, though, 132-127. Gonna look in on the Sixers. Neil, all show long we were talking about how tonight felt like a great night for DFS because the fill-ins, one of the guys I immediately thought of because Jimmy Butler was out was Ben Simmons. I was planning on playing him if I was going to set up a DFS lineup. Looked pretty good tonight. 29 points, a block with 6 assists, 3 rebounds. He went to the line 23 times. That's outrageous. Made 15 of those, 7 of 11 from the field. J.J. Redick also filling that void that was left with no Jimmy Butler. J.J. Redick played solid, 27 points, 2 steals, 4 assists, 4 rebounds, 8 of 10 from the field, 5 of 8 from three-point range, and 7 of 12 total from the field. Great game from Redick. Joel Embiid, another guy you probably always need to think of whenever Jimmy Butler is going to be out. He did not disappoint. Neil, we saw some fantastic games from bigs tonight. Anthony Davis with that monster game. Cat with a monster game. Joel Embiid says, put me in that conversation. 42 points with 18 rebounds. The defensive stats, man. 3 steals, 2 blocks, 2 assists. He even gave you a 3. He had James Harden free throw numbers tonight. 17 of 19 from the line, 12 of 23 from the field. Neil, I'm getting exhausted talking about Joel Embiid right now. He did so much. It's unbelievable. Korkmaz with 10 points, 3 assists, 4 boards. Bolden had 4 points in just 16 minutes in a start. He had 4 fouls. We're not counting on Korkmaz or Bolden. TJ McConnell with 7 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds off the bench. Not too much else to talk about off the bench. Neil, what are your thoughts on the Sixers?
Yeah, Joel Embiid has just been a beast, hasn't he? It's just so impressive. Like you said, Ben Simmons. I guess they went to Hacka Simmons. I don't know.
They must have.
But Embiid had 19 free throws too. This is crazy. So I don't know if what they did. They shot over 50, somewhere in the 50 free throws. That's crazy. Anyway, this would be a great team to do a DFS because it's going to be a high-scoring game. 132, I think 100 to 127. So crazy night for them. Korkmaz got the start. Didn't do much with all these points out there, and fantasy stats out there. So I was looking to see how he would do it. He didn't do very much. Outside the big three in Reddick, I'm just kind of waiting and seeing, not making a mistake here and trying to push anything. So I don't think there's anyone really of value outside those three. Phoenix tonight, led by Devin Booker, 37 points, 2 rebounds, 8 assists on 10 and 22 shooting. He went to the line 17 times, made 15 free throws, 2 3-pointers, no defensive stats. DeAndre Ayton, 18 points, 11 rebounds, 2 assists, 8 of 12 shooting, 2 of 2 from the line, 2 steals, no blocks. DeAnthony Melton, that's where I got messed up here. 23 minutes, 10 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on 3 of 6 shooting, 3 of 4 from the free throw line, 2 steals and a block, 4 turnovers. TJ Warren, a very quiet night from him. Just 2 of 8 from the field in 20 minutes, 7 points, 2 rebounds, no assists, no steals, no blocks. Mikal Bridges, someone actually dropped. I know he has started to become a buzzy guy to pick up. He's getting plenty of minutes. Tonight's just 26, though. He just doesn't do enough for my taste. I think there's better streaming options. Tonight, just 2 points on 1 of 8 shooting, 6 rebounds and assist. No steals, no defensive stats tonight, no blocks. Off the bench, Josh Jackson played 27 minutes, went for 16, 6, and 4. Solid night from him. 3 of 4 from the line, 6 of 14 from the field, a steal, a block, a 3-pointer. Kelly Oubre, someone who I thought once he got traded over here might have value. I have long moved on from him and have not regretted it. Just 23 minutes tonight, 9 points, no assists, no rebounds, no blocks, no steals. Elie Kobo, someone who's not going to have any fantasy value this year. We'll see if he develops into a startable NBA player and fantasy asset later on in future seasons. 18 minutes tonight. Troy Daniels, 15. Rashawn Holmes played 14 minutes in the revenge game here. 13 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 4 or 5 shooting. 5 of 6 in the free throw line, 1 block. I am not going on the Rashawn Holmes hype train this year. Adrian, what happened to TJ Warren? Looks like he was not injured. He is 52nd on the player rater this year. I don't know why he's stuck to 20 minutes. Maybe just a matchup issue. He's got Boylan texted him during the game and told him to sit him out and watch the game and learn more from the sidelines. I don't know. Anyway, any thoughts on let me just finish my thoughts. Oubre, I'm not picking up. Bridges, I'm dropping. Melton, I'm not picking up. Holmes, I'm not picking up. It's just Booker, Ayton, and Warren for me right now on this team. Any thoughts from you?
You mentioned Warren may have gotten into some foul trouble tonight. I think he had 5 fouls, so it could be why he only saw 20 minutes. But, Neil, I agree with you, man. The underlying theme for the Suns has just been pretty much disappointment. Like, other than Booker and Ayton, we had high hopes for Bridges, and he's been disappointing. I had super high hopes for Melton. He's been disappointing. When Oubre Jr. joined this team, I wondered, could he emerge as a guy? As you said, we need to move on from Oubre. He's been awful, hasn't done much. Josh Jackson, I can't really trust coming off the bench. He had a nice game tonight, but tomorrow he could get 20 minutes and put up a low-end line. So we have all these guys here who have potential, like Rashawn Holmes, but we just can't trust them. And so this team's pretty disappointing. So I don't trust anyone except for the 2 studs that they got at the top. But let's just keep an eye on their situation. Maybe things can change into the second half of the season. And that's all I got on the Suns. Neil, any closing thoughts here?
Thanks for mentioning the foul trouble with Warren. I missed that. So, yes, that would explain his absence tonight. Not because he was forced to watch a game from the sidelines by a coach's decision. That is all I've got tonight. I know you've got to head out of here. You want to sign off, and then Yes. I'll be back for Game 9.
All right, I am out of here, you guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us on this long show. Want to remind you guys real quick, go get the in-season premium membership. Great stuff over there. It's a no-brainer deal at the current price. The ad drop advice, the rankings projection, the dynasty stuff. You interact with all the HB pros. It's It's great. And I'm out of here. Follow me on Twitter at Adrian Benjamins. Hit Neil up as well at Ball with Neil. Quick question for the listeners before I get out of here. I'm thinking of getting one of those Oculus VR headsets to watch the NBA games. If any of you listeners are doing this, hit me up. Let me know how it is. Is it a waste? Is it not as good as just watching a game on regular TV? I'm curious. Let me know before I fork over $200 on this thing. And just want to thank you guys. Neil will be back for one more game. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right, on to the last game of the evening. Oklahoma City at the Los Angeles Lakers. A nice win by OKC here, 107-100. OKC led by Paul George, 37 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 15 of 29 shooting, 5 of 7 from the free throw line, 2 3-pointers, 3 steals, no blocks. Russell Westbrook, played 36 minutes, triple-doubled, 14, 16, and 10. However, struggled mightily from the field. 3 of 20 shooting, 7 of 10 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Steven Adams, double-doubles, 14 points, 15 rebounds, 3 assists on 5 of 10 shooting, 4 of 6 on the free throw line, 0 steals, 2 blocks. Jeremy Grant, 36 minutes, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 0 assists, 5 of 10 shooting, 2 of 2 from the free throw line, a 3-pointer, no steals, and no blocks. Terrence Ferguson, 19 minutes, 2 points, 1 rebound, no assists, 1 of 7 shooting. No defensive stats, no turnovers. Off the bench, Dennis Schroeder plays 29 minutes, 10, 7, and 6. 4 of 13 from the field, 1 of 4 from the line. A 3-pointer, no defensive stats, 3 turnovers. Abdel Nader plays 14 minutes, Nerlens Noel 12, Patrick Patterson 12, Hamidou Diallo 11. This Westbrook percentages is just getting really struggling if you drafted him early, especially in ACAT League where I had him end of first round, beginning of second round. He is nowhere near that. 15th, but that's a lot lower than we expected. 30th in 9-cat league. So tonight does not help. Adams struggling a bit too. 81 on a per game basis in 8-cat leagues. I think he'll get a little better, but really killing you with the free throw percentage at 53%. Paul George, on the other hand, has stuck around into the and has soared into the top part of the first round, 5th overall on a per game basis in 8 category leagues, and continues to perform there. I don't own Jeremy Grant. He is good in blocks, field goal percentages. Certainly 9-cat leagues, he is worth owning because his turnover is very low. But just in 8-cat leagues, he does 2 things well. Everything else is a negative. 104 on a per game basis. So blocks and field goal percentages, if you can withstand the other slight detriments to his game, particularly on points and assists. Schroeder is another guy that I think is pretty good. I mean, he doesn't really hurt you too much. Points doesn't really hurt you too much, and he's right around 0 points, 3-pointers, positive assists, positive free throw, obviously blocks, rebounds. Don't expect that from a point guard who's now a converted shooting guard. So I still think this guy could be owned if he's out there. Probably already picked up, but still rolling along. No one else here to really mention. Let's hop over to the Los Angeles Lakers, still without LeBron James, being led tonight by Brandon Ingram. As far as the starting unit goes, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, 8 of 21 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line, no 3-pointers, no steals, a block, 4 turnovers. Kyle Kuzma, very quiet night in 16 minutes. Looks like he did get injured with a lower back contusion, so we'll see how serious that is tonight. 1 of 4 from the field, just 4 points, a rebound, and assist. Certainly worth holding on to. We'll be very interested to see how this team was going to score without LeBron and Kyle if they're both out going forward. JaVale McGee plays 20 minutes, goes for 15, 8, and 1 on 7 of 16 from the field, 1 of 3 from the free throw line, 4 blocks. Lonzo Ball, 35 minutes, but just 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting. Surprised he took so few shots. 3 defensive stats, a steal, and 2 blocks. So that was good to see. And he also went 1 of 5 from the line. So just detrimental in both those percentages categories tonight. Josh Hart, double-doubles, 13, 15, and 2. Maybe a beneficiary of these, the lack of scoring players out there. 5 of 16 from the field tonight. So struggled there. 2 of 4 from the line. 1 3-pointer, 1 steal, and a block. Turnover. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope led all scorers for the Lakers off the bench with 34 minutes, 25 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists on 6 of 14 shooting. Lance Stevenson gets 21 minutes. Tyson Chandler 17. Zubac 10. As far as this team goes, I think Hart, if Kuzma is going to be out and LeBron is going to be out, looks like he could come back for the next game. We'll see what happens there. Josh Hart could be streamer worthy. I think Lonzo Ball I would rather have, although he is probably owned. Hart might be available. KCP, perhaps. Those 2 guys keep an eye on if Kuzma's out for an extended period of time. Other than that, they are not worth owning once this team gets fully healthy. Rondo is expected to be back in another month, so he's out for a while as well, and sort of on the fringe himself. All right, that's going to do it for the Box Score Breakdown edition, January 2, 2019. We'll be back again tomorrow night with a short set of 3 games. And reminding you that our primary chief sponsor here at Hoop Ball is Hawaiian Isles Kona Coffee. Find their products at hawaiianisles.com, or you can find them on amazon.com as well. Hoop Guide premium membership still available for, I believe, $15, perhaps even less as we head into the new year. And the DFS contest is on Friday, so hopefully you'll join us for that. Take care.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.